I think the App Store, the ecosystem was really important, both on making sure the product had 100% product market fit, and also on the referral side. I think that was really important because it meant that we had effectively a distributed sales force that
Mhm.
wasn't on our payroll.
Mhm.
And just something small on that that really matters. I remember at the time, the Apple iOS store had an 80-20 rev share split. So if you build something on Apple, excuse me, it had a 70-30 rev share split. So you build something on Apple, you as a developer keep 70%, 30% goes to Apple. And I remember when we were talking about our rev share for our app store, we actually said 80-20. Not that we were competing with the iOS store. I mean, we were a small little nothing company in Canada, but this idea that we would be more generous than
Mhm.
the incumbents might be was very important. And the truth is, the additional 10 points didn't really change it for us, but it just meant that when you built on Shopify, you deeply understood that you were going to get a very fair and a generous rev share split. I think that was one. I think the second one we really hammered hard was this thing called the Build a Business competition. It was like our big aha moment. And it was, we had an article in the New York Times about it, but it started in a very kind of simple way. We had met Tim Ferriss, I think in 2009 or so, and he became an advisor. And Tim is now a very good friend to both me and Toby, and we've done his pod. He's a great guy. But Tim looked at Shopify and said, "Great product. You guys are missing something. Most people, even though your product is great, easy to use, and you're making entrepreneurship more accessible, most people have a risk aversion to something like entrepreneurship for one of two reasons: either too expensive or they don't know how to use it." And he had this idea that we should create a competition whereby someone would start a brand new business on Shopify, like Jan 1, and 6 months later, the store with the highest sales would win. I think we said $10,000, and then Tim said it's got to be 100,000. We did
Okay.
not have $100,000 to give out that way, but our hope was that by the time the competition ended, we would actually have that type of money. And we launched the first Build a Business competition in 2010. And it got us, I think the article in the New York Times, I have to go check, but I'm sure your listeners will keep me honest here. But I think it's like a startup starts their own startup competition, like launches
Uh-huh.
their own startup competition.